Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Zimbabwe is a failed state. That is just a historic fact. And one of the reasons why Zimbabwe is a failed state is that in the last 45 years, we have failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections. And so we've been stuck with this corrupt, incompetent, and utterly useless ZANU-PF regime. We have had many opportunities to end the dictatorship, and yet we have wasted them again and again and again. 2017 was one of those opportunities to end this ZANU-PF dictatorship. Remember the coup. This is a picture of then the army commander, Chiwenga, holding the constitution just a few days before staging the 2017 military coup. He assured the nation that the coup was in defense of the constitution. He is holding Zimbabwe's 2018 constitution. He wanted to portray himself as a man of the law, a man who respects the constitution. The truth of the matter is, he was lying. He waived the constitution, pretending that he was protecting the constitution. But he has never been able to quote the chapter and verse that says a military coup is constitutional. Because there's no such chapter and verse. When he and his colleagues staged the coup, they claimed that they were removing Mugabe and the corrupt individuals around him. Again, he was lying. As much as the nation wanted Mugabe removed, after 37 years in power, the truth of the matter is Chiwenga and his colleagues in the coup had been the men, the individuals who had imposed Mugabe on the nation all those last 37 years. And therefore, then for him to now pretend as if he was the nation's savior was pathetic. You are the one who imposed the tyrant on the nation. All they were talking about then, Chiwenga and company, is that they wanted Mugabe out because it was their turn to rule. Chiwenga became vice president after the coup. His reward for staging the coup. He and his colleague condemned that corruption. He was corrupt himself. Mnangagwa, when he got into power, promised free, fair, and credible elections. He never delivered on that. Chiwenga, as vice president, he now had to campaign for the elections, 2018 and 2023. And in one of the rallies, Chiwenga threatened to crush the opposition like lice. He was not a Democrat, or pretends that he was, and that was why he staged the coup, was all nonsense. But the people had fallen for it. And on the 17th of November, when Mugabe announced that he was stepping down, the people came out in full force in support of the coup. The streets of Harare, Bulawayo, and many of the other nation cities were full of people praising the army. Someone has since rechristened 17th of November National Zungu Day. He's absolutely right. The people were foolish. They supported the military coup of 2017, because all it did was carry out a musical chair. They removed one dictator only to replace him with another. Nothing changed. This is why Zimbabwe is today in a serious economic and political mess. There is now a factional war going on between Chiwenga and Mnangagwa. Here is Chiwenga speaking recently at Heroes Acre.
swore to a shared future in which everyone had a place on the table, a place in the sun for a culture of equal opportunity where every Zimbabwean served in equal measure. Zveubvanzu kudya kwemhumhi takazviramba. Our Vision 2030 is for all of us. Kwete dzamunotimbinga kuhondo taidziti zvigananda. Those who grow big tummies through ill-gotten wealth and questionable morals.
Well, that is rich. So now President Chiwenga, or Vice President Chiwenga, is condemning corruption. And he's once again reverting to his favorite, that he is upholding the law and the Constitution. Here is the reaction of his supporters Please speak. The truth of the matter is, this is just a repeat of 2017. We know that Chiwenga is corrupt. When he was going through one of his divorce with one of his wives, it was revealed that he had a staggering 45 gold watches, farms, a fleet of Porsche cars, and a number of business. And yet he is now the one denouncing those with big tummies from ill-gotten wealth. Well, he is one of them. He is standing on the platform that he does not want 2030 because it violates the Constitution. The Constitution calls for a 2-term limit, and allowing Mnangagwa to stay until 2030 would be violating the 2-term limit. It just happens to be a convenient clause because he believes it's his turn to rule. What is shocking here is that the people are taken in for it again. They are so gullible, they believe him. This is one of the weaknesses of Zimbabwean society. We've become an extremely naive and gullible people. And for that, the nation is paid dearly for it, again and again, because both the ruling parties, ZANU-PF, and the opposition have taken full advantage of that weakness. The idea that we can have another musical chair where we replace the current dictator, Mnangagwa, with Chiwenga, whom we already know is corrupt, has not even a single drop of democratic blood in his veins. He is as much responsible for the establishment and retention of the ZANU-PF dictatorship as all the other ZANU-PF thugs. And to now think that he can be the savior of the country, of the nation, is naive, to say the very least. We really need to wake up as a nation and learn from the past. We can't keep on repeating the same mistakes over and over again. We have proven again and again that we are incredibly naive and gullible. And the politicians on both sides of the political divide have taken full advantage of that. But after 45 years of rigged elections and with a nation up to its eyeballs in economic mess and political paralysis, we really need to sit up and think. We should not take our eyes off what we really want. And what we really want is a lock, stock, and barrel change of the political system. We want the ZANU-PF dictatorship dismantled. Removing Mnangagwa and replacing him with Chiwenga is not going to end the dictatorship. And as long as Zimbabwe remains a pariah state, ruled by corrupt, incompetent, and murderous thugs, Zimbabwe's economy is not going to recover. No one wants to deal with these corrupt individuals. Who would want to work in a country where nothing works? There's no clean running water, no electricity. The roads are full of potholes. The country's health and education system have all but collapsed. This is a country in a crisis, and we are not going to end the crisis by repeating the same foolish mistake over and over again. The issue here is not to replace Mnangagwa with Chiwenga, but to end the whole ZANU-PF dictatorship. End the ZANU-PF dictatorship and you'll get rid of Mnangagwa. Replacing Mnangagwa with Chiwenga will retain the dictatorship. And a few years down the line, we will be the first ones to say again that Chiwenga is worse than Mnangagwa, whom we are now saying is worse than Mugabe. To me, there is no difference. Trying to compare one dictator with another is like a mouse being asked to choose which is worse, a black mamba or a cobra, when the mouse knows very well that a bite from either one of those will kill it. Now we're introducing a viper. And now the mouse is being asked to choose which is better. How naive. We really need to address this problem. Chiwenga is not going to bring to end Zimbabwe's ZANU dictatorship. And that is at the heart of our problem. Ending the ZANU-PF dictatorship. And if we do not end it, we are in trouble. We should keep our eyes on the ball. And the ball is ending the dictatorship, not replacing one dictator with another. That is my message. Thank you very much. Have a good day.